Governance is not law. This is what development teams currently that are being paid would have you think. This is what they want you to believe. This is how they want to keep everybody in line with how their perception of a system works. Now, the biggest thing you're always going to have with stuff like this is people just simply altering a very well installed system that worked previously and just adapting it to how they believe things should go down. So according to Hexagon, governance is not law. It's a democratic means to have a discussion, offer grants, and alter layer 1 protocol code. But it's not law, even though you can alter the code to make things law. Now, I believe this is 100% wrong, and I believe governance is a core principle of our blockchain. It means everything to this blockchain. Without governance, we're not a decentralized chain. We're not this chain that is based around consensus, right? If governance is not law, why do we have Commonwealth? Why do we have proposals? Why do we have validators? Why do we have voting power? It all comes into question when someone says governance is simply not law. Governance is law, and governance has always been respected. If we go and we look at Luna, and it's horrible to always go and look at our sister chain, but if we look at Alliance and Feather, right? Alliance and Feather was agreed instead of Expedition. They're currently going through the process of Alliance and Feather. Have the dev team deviated from that? No, because it was passed via governance. All of the validators would be very upset if all of a sudden their lead development team suddenly started depicting what they thought was what they thought was Alliance and Feather.js and just simply altering it. They would not be happy. The difference is they don't care about this chain, so they're not going to really kick up a fuss at all. It's just more bickering to these sort of like higher powers that be, because they're not as integrated into this system as a lot of us. So they just see all of this as just back and forth bickering, when all of this is actually very important. And if you go and you look at news articles, a lot of the news articles are now saying my proposal is a make or break moment, and it's likely going to alter the course of history for our blockchain, and it will mark a key moment as to everything starting to turn around. Everybody that didn't have trust before suddenly going, well, they've removed the trust me bro aspect. They've put a paid per milestone system in place. They're calling devs to accountability. All of the validators are backing up the fact that, yes, governance has been disobeyed, and yes, it must be obeyed no matter what it does to development. If it halts it for a month, it halts it for a month. At least then going forward, we remove the whole trust me bro aspect. We start to look good to the external forces that be. And these mass media articles, right, that go out across board, across all of the different news lanes, it's everything to the outside who want to get involved in crypto. People that might be, so a lot of people say SHIB is a gateway crypto, and I 100% believe SHIB is a gateway crypto, because a lot of people buy SHIB because of the burning and stuff like that. Then they get to know how things work, and then they're thinking to themselves, well, I'm waiting for Shibarium. You know, you've already roped them in at that point. They start to dip their toe into other things, and this is how we push forward. This is how we begin to get things done, removing the trust me bro aspect, removing the need to have people more or less self-regulate and hold themselves accountable, because this is just completely wrong. And this is why people like this should not be getting paychecks from the chain, right, to do what they're doing. If they want to do all of this, fair enough, go and do it. Build what you want, run what endpoints you want, but don't keep pillaging and plundering a community that's on the verge of collapse. The coin's on the verge of collapse. Everything is at a point now where something has to change. And I can tell you something for now. If people like this believe that governance, the most core used system in our blockchain, the blockchain itself is actually developed and built around the governance system. Everything would have been built from that, mind mapped from that, cultivated from the fact that if a proposal goes up and the validators and the community agree on consensus, that is what should happen, then that is what happens. This is going to be the biggest issue with people like this, because they're always going to want to bend what they want to their own will, do what they want without any repercussions. And this is why you've seen people like Edward Kim go off, make Entropy. People like Tobias go off and make DocsChain. Cool, long pause. So many different people that have gone off and done so many different things. You know, you've got Hexagon, you've got Terraport, you've got Lunatics Token, you've got DF Lunc Protocol. They're launching a DEX. They're going to launch a coin soon. Everybody's fighting for a privatized sector. Nobody's actually fighting for the blockchain that feeds everybody. Everybody just wants to take from it, and I get it. But if we all do that, we disobey governance, it's just going to lead to what is happening now, where we look like idiots from the outside. And more than that, we're not only putting ourselves at risk now, we're putting other investors' assets at risk. And this is why I voted no to the burning of 100% of the Ozone Fund's proposal, because it's simply poorly worded. It's worded in a manner that just simply portrays that you're going to be burning all of the coins if that goes through as yes, right? Luckily, that's not passed, or it doesn't look like it's passing. I don't think it has passed. No, it hasn't, thank goodness. So with stuff like that, right, totally get it. People want to burn, but ultimately we can't go into people's wallets to burn. So now when I say to people, what's a good example of things passing and not happening? Well, we were told that we'd reached parity by the L1 development team before their collapse recently. That didn't happen. We're not at parity, and they're still being paid to develop towards parity. And we've been lied to. Governance has been misportrayed. Governance has been disobeyed, and they're just abusing it and utilizing it and weaponizing it exactly how they feel. Another big thing is like these promises, right? The promise of a big burn, a promise of 800 million USTC burned. The proposal goes up. It's agreed. Right, cool. That's what we're doing. That's what the community's agreed. That's what validators agreed. Let's burn it. Well, where's the burn? The burn has not happened because the people behind these proposals, the people fighting over it all, right, don't have access to the funds. They didn't have confirmation of access to the funds. And this was the nuclear resort option to get attention to it and cause mass panic. Then what you've seen is the USTC quant team come forward and say, hey, okay, there's 800 million in that wallet, but there's a lot more in all of the other wallets. Let's just burn it all. Oh, well, it's retails, doesn't matter. Let's just burn it all and not worry about the consequences whatsoever. But they're not our coins. Yeah, that's fine. We can actually alter the blockchain state to start deleting coins from people's wallets that we deem fit. Yeah, nah, that's not happening. That no one should ever get a line of God code. There's so many ifs, buts, and coconuts at the moment. No one's crossing the T's, no one's dotting the I's, so to speak, and it's all just getting very like malicious. There's talks of a USTN coin sort of coming up, and you know, I'll keep saying this to people as well. I think everybody needs to understand, if Luna Classic gets collapsed, USTC has no master. They have no one that they have to abide by. They've got no one that they're attached to anymore. They're free. They're free with the only currently built algorithmic stablecoin in the sector, and I think everybody needs to wake up. They need to understand that the risks, okay, are huge. The USTC repeg is worth billions and billions and billions to the people who lead it, the people who end up doing the repeg, and the people who are behind it all, and who specifically that USTC is tied into as an arbitrage system. It's all very, very peculiar at the moment, and I think as a community, we've always gone on this fact of, okay, we'll pay them and then we'll trust them to do the work. That's not working. It's not been working for some time. Halting process to bring in a paper milestone system right now to get every single development team out of this whole trust me bro aspect, remove the power, okay, and then simply introduce this pay per mile system, which would be a trust me bro, because you wouldn't take anybody's funding, okay, until someone messes up. They wouldn't have to consistently pass a proposal every week like they're complaining they may have to. It would just simply be a trust me bro system until something like this happens. A deviation goes off, of course, the community's not happy, a proposal goes up to halt the next round of funding, okay, until they get back into alignment. What happens? Oh, they're back in line, they agree they're going to do this, cool, put a proposal up, 7 days later, their funding's back. You know, it's really not that hard. We've spent the good part of a month now doing nothing, listening to the L1 team tell us they're going to build station, then they can't build station, then they might be able to build station. Oh, we've got the code repo, so we can do it. Oh, no, sorry, we don't have the knowledge. To arguing and bickering about 800 USTC that certain people want to delete, certain people want to burn, certain people want to do all these things, but we don't have access to it anyway. So we've spent the better part of a month simply just dealing with these two things, right? So I don't think halting development for even a month at worst is a bad thing. You know, I think at worst it would be a 2-week halt. Okay, their funding currently doesn't get halted. So are they going to stop developing? No, they can't, because they still have their funding. My proposal doesn't say, oh, it removes their funding currently and they have to return it to the community pool. No, this just means the next round of funding they shouldn't get until things are more aligned and the pay per milestone system is in place. Folks, let me know what you think about all this. I hope you've had a really nice weekend. I think it's really important to understand, you know, the inner motives of how people believe this blockchain should be, and it's not law, and, you know, they'll bend it to however they want. We don't want people like this. We want people who are going to simply respect the system, respect of what it is, not try to bend and curve it to their own sort of motives and what they believe is how it should be. I honestly think this is such a huge issue that's underlining, but the community are waking up. Validators are waking up across board. As controversial as this proposal is, we are seeing validators get involved. We've seen big people like CoinPay, Afzal, people like this get involved and throw down a yes vote to say, yes, governance must be obeyed. And no, it's not okay for developers to continue to keep doing this to this blockchain, getting away with it. And then when someone puts a proposal like this, which is really on point to what it is, it sends such a huge signal to the outside world, to the inside of the community, to further and future development teams and current development teams that, hey, we're not going to put up with this no more, and you will be shut down in a sense that you won't get funding until you do what governance has been passed. Loads of people are like, oh, you know, HCC, he wants this, he wants that. No, I propose things, and if people agree with it, then that's what's been agreed. That's what's been proposed. That's what gets put through. I can imagine Terra Rebels, aka Hexagon, would be very angry if they put through a spend proposal and then we just didn't give it to them. We're like, well, it's just a guideline. We don't feel like giving it to you. It's only a guideline. It's not law anyway. You know, it's okay until the shoe is on the other foot, I guess. Stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and I will catch you in the next one.